Yeah, wonderful people, this is BVI Channel 1, where you get undiluted truth. And as a Pan-Africanist, I will continue advocating for the betterment of African continent. And I can tell you, African leaders are beginning to wake up from their slumber. This video is a clear indication that Africans are about to jump from frying pan to fire. But this video is encouraging. I want you to watch it.
Just democracy. A country that was opposed to our liberation, a country that supported colonial regimes, the apartheid regime in South Africa, the white racist minority regime in Zimbabwe, now Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, the Portuguese colonial governments in Mozambique, in Angola, in Guinea-Bissau, and Cape Verde. Today is coming to Africa to teach us about democracy. A country that has toppled so many governments in Africa, that has led so many coups in Africa and other parts of the world. A country that has killed so many of our leaders in Africa and other parts of the world. The killers of Patrice Lumumba, those who toppled Kwame Nkrumah, those who killed Nasser, those who killed Muammar Gaddafi, today are coming to teach us about democracy. A country that has been built on brutal force, on enslavement of other human beings, on the humiliation of Africans, the exploitation of Africans, the plunder of Africa, today is coming to teach us about democracy. That's the arrogance, the imperialist arrogance, the racist arrogance that we are subjected to. We cannot have democracy where there is hegemony of the strongest, mightiest imperialist power. We cannot have democracy where a country's resources, a country's decisions are dictated to by another country. A country that is dominated by another country cannot be democratic. A country that lacks sovereignty cannot be democratic. A people that cannot decide for themselves cannot be democratic. A colony, a neo-colony cannot be democratic. That's why today, even at the United Nations, membership is on the basis of sovereignty. Only sovereign nations can be members of the United Nations, because only sovereign nations can decide for themselves. A colony cannot be a member of the United Nations. It's not by accident. It's not a mistake. If you have no respect for the dignity of others, if you have no respect for the sovereignty of other countries, you cannot claim to be a champion of democracy. They used to say, all roads lead to Rome. Today, we can confidently say, all roads to progress, all roads to what is better for humanity leads to Beijing. This is a country, this is a people that have developed themselves, that has developed itself without colonizing any country in the world, without plundering any country in the world, without subjugating any people in the world. This is a country that is developing with maximum respect for others, for their history, for their cultures, and recognizes the diversity that is there in civilization. We were only taught one form of civilization, one form of modernization. That was the Western way. Westernness was a measure of how civilized, how modern you are. We reject that. We reject it because it's not correct.
Good. Fela sang the song, say, teacher, no teach me nonsense. Democracy, that is what we have in Africa, as imported by the Europeans who have been our oppressors. They are the ones trying to teach Africans democracy. And as a student of politics, governance, public administration, I have my own belief in the school of thought that development is not imported. The same is democracy. It is relative. You can't import your British democracy and try to impose it on the Middle East or in Africa and the rest of them. Every democracy have their uniqueness. America and Britain are not practicing the same kind of democracy. But they try to define our own kind of democracy for us. And that is where the problem lies. But let's keep that aside. Addressing what this man said, everybody will agree with him. But I saw danger. You know, I will always see beyond my nose, and I will bring it to the knowledge of those who are watching. I saw danger. What did I see? I saw Chinese. You are running away from Europeans and running on to Chinese as though they are better. These are too evil happening to Africa. Chinese may be, a lot lenient. They are coming with investment. They are coming with this one and the other one. Let me tell you, it is no different with what the Europeans are doing with IMF and World Bank to keep Africans indebted and never rise. And they will continue exploiting our rich resources. I want to advise every African leader through this platform, and I want you to help me share it until your presidents, your leaders get this message. African development must come from within Africa. We have learned enough. We have expertise. We have professionals in different fields that can develop Africa within Africa through African norms and values, so that we will be able to solve our problem, our immediate problem by ourselves. If you expect to import development, if you expect to import a system to work in Africa, you will continue to fail. And that is the mistake. Because I saw Chinese, they are clapping that African leaders are leaving Europeans to come and deal with them. Oh, they weren't part of the colonization. Oh, Russia also is not, and you know the alignment. We are seeing it is a world politics, fine and good. At that stage, you can play that politics of alignment and whatever. But when it comes to Africa, let it be Africans developing Africa. You don't need anybody to develop yourself. Chinese did that. They went inward and today they are superpowers. African countries do that. You have everything it takes. The only problem we have in Africa are greedy political leaders. Very greedy that they amass primitive wealth they don't need. That is the problem of Africa. So African people, we should come inward and deal with this. Get men and women and men of character that can do the needful, that can transform Africa and place it on the world map where it would be respected. Enough of Africans running away from Africa to be slaves across the world and being treated in such a dehumanizing form. Enough of that. And if you stand on this message, help me share it. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm a Nigerian by citizenship and a Biafran by my indigenous identity. I will always be proud of whom I am. And until we all become committed to this project, Africa will continue being slaves globally. That is my message to you. Help me share this video. Drop your comment on the comment section. I want to have your opinion on this. And if you have not subscribed, hit on the subscription button so you don't miss any iota of truth coming from this platform. Bye-bye for now.